Here's how I use generative AI as part of my creative process. I'll talk about the 5 different activities in which AI helps me, the different products I use, and how much I spend. Now, in a couple of my recent videos, I have been rather critical about AI. So to our future AI overlords, please know that it comes from a place of love. Okay, so before we get started, it might help to set some context. What is the creative work that I'm doing? I am a first-time science fiction writer, and I am currently trying to publish my first book that I've already drafted. Now, of course, I wrote the novel the old-fashioned way, and not a single AI-generated word is there in my manuscript. So, what is the creative work that still remains? Well, you're watching a big part of it right now. This YouTube channel that I created to promote my book and my writing career. There are also other promotional activities that I have ongoing, and it is across all of these that AI helps me out. So without further ado, let's look at the first use case. First up is speech enhancement. As you can tell, I'm not exactly in the optimal setting to be recording audio, and I don't exactly have the most fancy audio recording equipment either. Having a tool to enhance my speech definitely helps. And for this, I use this tool from Adobe called Enhanced Speech. It is a free tool, quite a generous free usage that we have. As far as I can tell, we can upload and enhance unlimited audio files. It's fairly easy to use. Just upload the audio file, and then it gives you an enhanced version that you can download and use in your video project or podcast or whatever. So awesome tool, free to use, and is a great way to improve the quality of videos that I make. Now, the second use case is image background removing. This is something that I need quite frequently when I'm creating YouTube thumbnails or other images for my videos. There appear to be quite a few free tools available. I have in the past been using this tool called Pixabay. Again, very easy to use. Just upload your image and within a matter of seconds, it just removes the background. This saves me an incredible amount of time, especially while creating thumbnails. And it doesn't just save me time, it does a way better job than I would ever do with the image editing skills that I have, and they offer 3 downloads per day if you use the free version, which pretty much suffices for my needs. The remaining 3 activities all go through a single product, which is the household name of generative AI, OpenAI's ChatGPT. So the third use case is image generation, and I create images to use as visuals as part of my videos. For example, what you see here are images I try to create for a short story audiobook. Moving on to the fourth use case, ChatGPT helps me out in creating the scripts and outlines for these YouTube videos. So what I usually do is create my own outline, but then I feed it into ChatGPT and ask it for feedback and also ask it to create its own version of the script. However, I just look for a few interesting points here and there rather than actually using the script, because generally the script feels a little bit off as provided by ChatGPT. I think it might be because sometimes it doesn't exactly get the point that I'm trying to make with that part of the script, or it may not quite get the sort of pacing that I'm looking for in the video. And so while I do go through and look for any interesting ideas, I end up using my own script for the videos. And then on to the fifth use case, which is using ChatGPT as a research assistant. Sometimes I'll be looking for some information or quotes. For example, here I wanted examples of artists who felt intimidated by the scope of their project, and I asked ChatGPT and it gave me a bunch of responses, and then we can have a back and forth to get more information. Now, as I covered in a previous video, the information that ChatGPT gives you should not be relied upon. It is very dodgy in how it confidently says things that might be completely inaccurate or even fabricated. So please double check your research, especially if the accuracy of the information is important. Do check out my other video to find out more about that. So amongst the 3 products that I showed you today, ChatGPT is the only one where I'm actually paying for it. I am on the Plus plan of ChatGPT, which is $20 per month or around 2,000 Indian rupees per month. I do think it is well worth the price, though you could try the free tiers to see how that works out for you as well. Now, do I consider it essential though? As I went through some of the use cases that I was using ChatGPT for, you could tell that it wasn't exactly giving me a perfect solution or answers that I could just go ahead and use without any further work at my end. But at least for me, I do find it worth it because it helps act like a lubricant to my workflow. Sometimes when you're doing anything creative, having like a blank page to stare at can be the biggest block in making progress. And generally speaking with ChatGPT, whether it gives you something useful or interesting or accurate or not, it just helps keep the process going, and that in itself is helpful for me from a productivity standpoint. But definitely I wouldn't think that anything about this is essential, at least in the way it works today.